ex-employees, hidden math, and the 9 slots you were never meant to notice. The doors slide open and the casino exhales. Lights breathing in neon, reels whispering promises. You follow the sound like everyone does, but tonight you're not everyone. An ex-floor tech once told me, if you know where to stand, the math starts talking. He wasn't bragging. He was pointing. Past the end caps where the noise is loudest. Past the bar-top blinkers built for impulse. Into the quiet lanes where cabinets don't sell fireworks. They sell time. Here's the part most players never realize. 2 machines can look identical and live on different math. One bleeds slowly. One gives you a fighting chance. We tracked the patterns ex-employees kept hinting at. Floor placement, info panels, progress meters that creep towards soft edges. And we built a map. 9 high-RTP slots most people walk past because they're not dressed for attention. They're dressed for return. Tonight, you're going to hear how insiders read a machine's personality in seconds, volatility, state, and the tiny tells that separate almost from actually. We'll name the types, the triggers, the traps, and the moves that keep your bankroll breathing. The secret formula of RTP casinos don't want you to notice. You walk into a casino, the lights shimmer, the sound of coins and digital chimes fill the air, and your eyes dart from one slot to the next. But here's what 90% of players never realize. Every slot you see is part of a mathematical illusion designed to look random, while secretly favoring the house. Behind those flashing screens, there's a number that quietly decides how often you win, RTP or return to player. It's the hidden DNA of every slot machine. A 97% RTP means the machine theoretically gives back $97 for every $100 played over time. But here's the trick. Over time could mean tens of thousands of spins. Casinos count on you quitting before you ever reach the payout curve. Ex-employees say the casino floor is mapped to keep lower RTP machines near entrances and bars, where impulse players are most likely to sit. Meanwhile, the better-paying ones, tucked away in corners most players never find. That's why knowing which machines hold the higher RTPs isn't just trivia, it's survival knowledge. In this video, we'll expose 9 hidden high RTP slots that even veteran players overlook, the ones smart gamblers quietly chase. Every slot has a story. The smart players aren't looking for luck, they're looking for patterns. Ever wondered if your favorite slot might secretly be one of them? Stay tuned. RTP versus volatility. Why loose can still feel tight. You probably had this moment. You sit at a machine that everyone says is loose. And 10 minutes later, you're staring at a dwindling credit meter, wondering what went wrong. Here's the part most players never notice. RTP and volatility aren't the same thing. RTP is the long-run payback math. Volatility is how that payback is delivered. Low volatility games drip small wins like a leaky faucet. High volatility games are desert dry until a storm hits. I once watched a regular grind a 97% RTP slot for an hour with almost no fireworks. Then, bang, a bonus that wiped out the last 50 minutes of losses in 3 spins. He didn't get lucky. He picked a machine whose math clusters value in features rather than in frequent line hits. Casinos know most people chase constant feedback, so floor placement and graphics lean toward high sizzle, low substance, steady beeps, tiny wins, long-term bleed. So how do you read the machine's personality? Check the pay table and feature panel. If top symbols pay huge multiples and the bonus ladder looks steep with rare symbols, you're likely staring at higher volatility. If the base game has lots of mid-tier pays and frequent micro features, it's probably lower volatility. Neither is better. It's about matching your bankroll and session goal to the math. Pair high RTP with volatility, you can bankroll. Short sessions? Favor lower volatility. Hunting a big bonus with a set budget? A well-chosen high volatility, high RTP title makes sense. Have you ever mistaken volatility for tightness? Good, because in the next chapter, we start revealing the first hidden high RTP slot most players walk past without a second glance. Hidden high RTP number 1. The low-key vampire that quietly pays. You've seen the loud, neon monsters hogging the end caps. Skip them. The first quiet assassin on our list hides in plain sight. A vintage-looking vampire slot with a cult following for one reason. Consistently high RTP in many markets. Players who know it don't brag, they just grind. The base game doesn't sizzle, but the numbers do. Think frequent line hits, a classic free spins round with a win multiplier, and a simple pick-and-click bonus that adds steady oxygen to your bankroll. It's the opposite of flashy, number 20-minute cinematics, no labyrinth of features. Just clean math that returns value more often than you'd expect. I once watched a tourist sit down, bet modestly, and let the game's boring consistency do the heavy lifting. No cheers, no crowd, just credit meter discipline and features that triggered often enough to keep him alive while the neighboring fireworks machines drain people in minutes. That's the trap. Casinos know excitement sells, so low volatility, higher RTP titles get tucked away, often near walls, high-limit rooms, or sections with older cabinets. The players who find them are the ones who look past the hype. RTP is configurable by jurisdiction and operator. Always open the game's info screen to confirm the stated payback where you play. If you're building balance, hunt for low volatility, high RTP classics with transparent bonus rules and multipliers. Then set a timebox session and stick to it. Hidden high RTP number 2, the Supermeter Classic with strategy built in. Now, walk past the blockbuster video slots and find the old-school cabinet that looks like it came from a European boardwalk. 3 reels, stacked symbols, and a mysterious supermeter mode. This is the high RTP classic insider's chase, often posting one of the best theoretical returns when played correctly. That last phrase is the catch. The machine's math expects you to bank base game wins, then press your advantage in supermeter at the right times. Most players don't. They either never enter supermeter or overstay and burn the cushion. Here's the rhythm seasoned players use. Build a small base game buffer, step into supermeter with a predetermined number of rounds, and look for tell signals like premium symbol stacks that raise your short-run hit potential. Miss your window? Step back down. This ISNT superstition, it's variance management against a machine designed to pay back its edge when you engage the feature loop intelligently. Why does the casino tolerate it? Because most people play it like a regular 3-reeler, random bets, no session plan, and they donate the built-in advantage right back. Also remember, RTP configurations vary by region and operator, so always check the help screen in your jurisdiction. Bring a written mini-script. Enter supermeter only after X credits, exit after Y rounds, or Z miss. Treat it like a side mission, not a mood. Ever watched players mash buttons on a classic and wonder why they stall out? Up next, we'll expose a modern video slot with surprisingly generous math hiding behind minimalist graphics, and why quiet games often carry louder returns. Hidden high RTP number 3, the minimalist video slot with maximum math. You'll spot it by what it doesn't do. No fire-breathing dragons. No 4K cinematics. Just a clean 5x3 grid, modest sound design, and a paytable that reads like a spreadsheet. Players walk past because it looks plain. But here's what most never notice. Minimalist slots often dedicate less budget to spectacle and more to return mechanics. Higher base RTP, tighter feature cycles, and transparent pay structures that quietly give you more play for your bankroll. Watch the rhythm. Line hits land often enough to keep you alive, and the free spins don't stall with endless teases. When the bonus does trigger, it leans on multiplying wilds or expanding reels rather than endless sub-features that siphon value. You'll also see something rare. A help screen that openly lists RTP ranges for different jurisdictions and, sometimes, different operator settings. That's your cue to verify the exact figure where you play. If the info panel shows a higher configuration, you found a workhorse. I once saw a couple camp on this game for 2 hours, small bets, unhurried. Their credit meter rose and fell like a tide. Then a tidy bonus with stacked wilds handed back the session. No fireworks, just math doing what math does. Validate the RTP in the info screen and scan the paytable for simple, value-dense features, multiplying wilds, straightforward free spins. Pair it with a steady bet size and a fixed session length to capture the edge without chasing. Hidden high RTP number 4, the Patience Pays Bonus Builder. You'll hear it before you see it. Soft ambient music, understated visuals, a feature meter that crawls instead of explodes. Most players tap out early, but this is the machine where patience turns into punch. It's a high RTP title with a collect and level bonus. You gather tokens, upgrade multipliers, and when the feature finally cracks open, The game converts those quiet minutes into a single, decisive payout window. Here's what most people never notice. The meter doesn't T-reset completely after every bonus in many versions. It soft resets. That means value can carry over across sessions. I once watched a regular circle this bank like a hawk, sitting only when the meter showed late-stage progress. Then he bet conservatively until the trigger, ramped up for the feature, and cashed a clean swing. He didn't luck out. He read state. Check the info screen. Some jurisdictions disclose whether progress persists, how many tokens are needed, and the bonus frequency band. Combine that with the posted RTP, and UVE got a rare alignment. High theoretical return plus visible state you can evaluate from the aisle. Betting? Start modest while collecting. Step up only when a trigger feels statistically imminent, like when you're one symbol short or when the meter is one segment from full. Table hop the meters. If progress is visible across machines, choose the most advanced state rather than the nearest empty chair. You're not chasing, you're selecting. Ever noticed how some machines seem ready without saying a word? In the next chapter, we spotlight a multi-line classic with a sneaky paytable that rewards line coverage over raw bet size, and why that flips the usual betting advice on its head. Hidden high-RTP number 5, the multi-line classic that pays for coverage. You slide into a seat that looks almost too simple. 5 reels, old-school symbols, and up to 20, 25, sometimes 40 paylines. No movie trailer intros, just a calm hum and a paytable that most people skip. Here's the twist the average player never notices. This multi-line classic quietly rewards coverage over brute force bet size. On these titles, RTP is often balanced around the assumption that you'll activate most or all lines. Why? Because the math spreads small and medium hits across weird angles, zigzags, V-shapes, and barely their diagonals. If you play only a handful of lines with a big coin value, you'll whiff those cross-lane connections that keep your bankroll breathing. I once watched a traveler switch from 5 lines at $0.20 per line to 25 lines at $0.04. Same total bet, different session. Suddenly, near misses became small hits fed features, and the bonus arrived before tilt did. He didn't outsmart the house, he aligned with the game's geometry. Look for paytables that emphasize adjacent pays and mixed bar or mixed symbol lines. That's your signal the engine expects you to blanket the grid. Check the help screen. Some versions even show return by feature, or note that scatter hits ignore line selection, making full coverage even more valuable because scatters can pair with line wins. Max lines, min coin. Start with full coverage at the lowest coin value, then inch the coin up only if the session trends upward. Keep a strict stop loss so you're never paying premium prices for no map coverage. Ever seen a jackpot meter that must hit by a number? Next up is the stealthy high-RTP progressive where the smartest edge isn't luck, it's timing. Hidden high-RTP number 6, the must-hit by progressive and the timing edge you spotted on the topper. Jackpot must hit by $500. The number is creeping, $472, $481, $489. Most players see a countdown to fireworks. You should see rising RTP. On local must-hit by progressives, a slice of every bet feeds the meter. And as that meter nears the cap, the game's effective return can jump above the posted base RTP. That doesn't guarantee profit, but it changes the math of your session in a way most people never factor in. Here's the simple lens. Measure progress to cap. If the meter range is $300 to $500 and it's at $490, you're 90% of the way there. The closer you are, the more equity sits on the table, especially if the jackpot must drop before the cap. I once watched a quiet, regular hop between 4 linked cabinets, only sitting when 1 meter crossed his threshold. He played calmly, short sessions, no theatrics. When the hit came, he cashed and walked. No chase, no one more spin. 2 cautions. First, crowding kills edge. If 3 people are hammering the same near cap meter, you're splitting the opportunity while feeding it faster. Second, wide area progressives usually have lower base RTPs. Your edge comes mostly from locals where the pool is bank-linked and transparent. Always check the help screen for contribution rates, eligible bets, and whether side bets are required. Set a must-hit threshold by percentage, e.g., play only when greater than or equal to 85% of cap. log banks that fill up at off-peak hours and leave the moment the jackpot drops. No victory laps. Have you ever walked past a cabinet that quietly lists its RTP on screen? In the next chapter, we'll show you how regulator disclosures and info panels help you cherry-pick high-return versions of the same game. Reading the fine print, regulators, info panels, and the RTP you can actually see. If you've ever tapped the tiny I button on a slot and felt like you opened a pilot's manual, good. You're exactly where the edge begins. Most players glance at the paytable art and back out. You're going deeper. In many markets, the info panel quietly lists the theoretical RTP range, sometimes a single figure, sometimes a band like 96.2% to 97.1%, because casinos can choose from approved configurations. Same cabinet, same graphics, different payback. That's not a conspiracy. It's how manufacturers ship multiple math models for different jurisdictions and floor strategies. In regulated online markets and some land-based jurisdictions, this disclosure is explicit. The help screen may include RTP, feature frequency, and whether progress meters persist between sessions. In parts of the U.S., you won't see machine-specific RTP, but state reports publish average payback by denomination, a directional compass if you prefer quarters over pennies. In the UK and much of Europe, many games must show the theoretical return in the help menu, so it's worth the extra tap. And remember, if a title lists multiple RTP versions, the casino selects one. Your job is to verify which one you're sitting on. Here's what most players never notice. Games with transparent math often pair that honesty with sturdier long-run behavior, clearer bonus rules, less fluff, more value where it counts. If two identical-looking titles sit side by side and one lists a higher RTP model, your decision is made. Always check the help screen first. If an RTP range is shown, only play if signage or the operator confirms the highest available model on that bank. Have you ever felt a machine nudge a near miss into a win? Next, we reveal hidden high-RTP number 7, a nudge and respin engine that turns almost into actualies when you know how to ride it. Hidden high-RTP number 7, the nudge and respin engine that converts almost into win. You know that heartbeat moment when a premium symbol stops just above the pay line? Most players sigh and spin again. On certain high-RTP titles, that's exactly when the machine shows its hand. Nudge and respin engines are designed to rescue near misses, sliding reels one position, or giving you a targeted respin to complete a line, a feature word, or a full reel of wilds. The animation looks like fan service. It's actually math. These games allocate part of their return to correction mechanics that turn almosts into measurable equity. Watch for patterns. If the game frequently freezes a reel, highlights a lane, or offers a paid respin on specific reels, usually the last one, you're likely dealing with a model that redistributes value into these micro moments. I once watched a quiet local ride this exact flow. Base bet low, wait for a board where two bonus symbols land, and the third reel shows stacks of the bonus icon above and below. He paid for the respin one time and connected the feature. It wasn't clairvoyance. It was recognizing state plus density. Open the info panel. Good versions disclose the respin trigger rules and whether nudges can stack, e.g., multiple reels can shift in a single sequence. If nudges can also create wild reels or symbol upgrades, the equity jumps further. Just don't overbuy respins. Manufacturers balance RTP, assuming some players spam them. Pro player move. Only accept respins when two conditions align. 1. Premium or bonus symbol density is visible. And 2. The respin targets the final dependency reel. Otherwise, skip and preserve bankroll. Ever played a cluster pays slot where wins tumble into bigger wins? Next, we reveal hidden high-RTP number 8. The multiplier avalanche that rewards momentum rather than raw bet size. Hidden high-RTP number 8. The multiplier avalanche that rewards momentum. You sit down at a slot with no pay lines at all, just a bright grid of symbols that pop like candy. Wins don't line up, they cluster. When 5 or more matching symbols touch, they explode, disappear, and new symbols cascade down. Here's what most players never notice. On certain high-RTP cluster pays titles, every consecutive cascade in a single spin ramps a win multiplier, x2, x3, x5, sometimes higher. The spectacle isn't the value, the momentum is. Watch the board like a chess player. Corners and edges are dead zones. The center mass is your engine. If wilds spawn after each collapse, the board can self-fuel. Clusters feed more clusters. The multiplier climbs, and your one spin becomes 5, 6, 7 collapses. I once watched a quiet grinder bet small and wait for a grid with pre-clustered mid-tier symbols and 2 wilds near center. First pop, small. Second, bigger. By the fourth cascade, the multiplier turned a modest hit into a mini jackpot. No panic, just pattern reading. Open the info panel. Strong versions disclose cluster size upgrades, e.g., 9 plus pays a bigger step, whether tumbling continues after features, and how the multiplier resets, end of spin, or after bonus only. Volatility here can be medium-high. Dry spells are normal, but when momentum catches, the return condenses into single spin windows. Bet steady, not aggressive. Scout the starting board. Favor dense mid-tier clusters and central wilds. If a bonus requires collecting scatters during cascades, stay until you see 2 on the grid, then give it a measured push. Would you have guessed momentum could be more important than bet size? Good, because next we reveal hidden high-RTP number 9, the final sleeper on our list, and it's hiding behind a theme almost nobody takes seriously. Hidden high-RTP number 9, the goofy theme that quietly crushes, you'd never pick it on looks. Big bubbly fonts, cartoon animals, a soundtrack that feels like a kid's show. That's the point. Most players dismiss silly themes as lightweight entertainment, so the cabinet rarely draws crowds, and the casino tucks it off the main path. But here's what most people never notice. Some of these lighthearted skins run on serious math, a high RTP model with sticky wild free spins, and a bonus that builds value instead of burning it on theatrics. Watch the base game pace. Small line hits arrive often enough to keep you upright, but the real engine is the feature that turns wild sticky for the entire free spin set. Land 2 or 3 early, and the grid converts from ordinary to loaded. I once watched a regular sit with a coffee, betting small, ignoring the spectacle across the aisle. When his feature landed, 2 sticky wilds locked on reel 2 and 3. Every subsequent spin was like a printer, steady, repeatable, unemotional profit window. He played the math, not the mood. Open the info panel. In many markets, this family of games lists RTP ranges and clarifies that sticky wilds persist within the feature only, plus the hit rate for free spins. If you see a medium volatility tag and a disclosed hit frequency that's not microscopic, you've likely found a session-friendly grinder. Hunt for sticky wild free spins on goofy skins. Verify the RTP in the help screen, then timebox your session. 2 feature cycles or a preset stop-loss, whichever comes first. No heroics. Climax. The mindset shift and the 9-slot smart play checklist. This is the moment the floor stops feeling like a carnival and starts feeling like a map. You're not chasing luck anymore. You're selecting states, math models, and timing windows. Here's the checklist smart players run automatically. 1. RTP first. Tap the info panel. If a range is shown, only play when you can confirm the highest model on that bank. 2. Volatility fit. Short bankroll. Choose steady engines, multi-line coverage, low-vol classics, goofy but sticky free spins. Bigger buffer, you can court the punchier stuff, avalanche multipliers, bonus builders. 3. Coverage over coin. On classic multi-lines, go max lines, minimum coin, then scale gently. 4. Feature state. Meters, token progress, or near cap, must hit by jackpots mean rising effective RTP. Enter only at your preset thresholds. 5. Supermeter discipline. Enter with a written plan, exit on schedule, no vibes. 6. Respin logic. Buy a respin only when density plus dependency align on the final reel. 7. Board scouting. On cluster pays, favor dense mid-tier clusters and central wilds. Momentum beats bravado. 8. Time boxing. 2 feature cycles or a fixed stop-loss. Whichever hits first, you're done. 9. Documentation, snap notes. Title, RTP scene, volatility feel, meter percent at entry, session outcome. Patterns appear fast when you actually measure. Here's the part most players never realize. The edge is in your decisions, not the next spin. You won't win every session. You're engineering better sessions across time. Print your checklist. Keep it in your wallet or notes app. If a machine doesn't meet at least 6 of 9 criteria, you keep walking. Ready to lock this in without losing the plot? In the finale, we bring it home. Responsible play, bankroll guardrails, and the simple routine that keeps your wins meaningful. Final word. Play like an insider, leave like a pro. Take one last look at the floor. The colors feel calmer now, the noise softer, because you're not walking into a storm, you're walking in with a map. You know where high RTP hides, how volatility feels in the hands, and when progress meters whisper, not yet now. But here's the truth the best players learn early. Even with perfect choices, slots are entertainment first. Your power isn't in forcing a win, it's in controlling the session. Start with a simple ritual. Before you sit, limit, timer, target. Decide your total budget, set a hard stop loss, and define one moment you'll stand up, jackpot drop, 2 feature cycles, or time. If you hit your target, bank it and downshift. If you stall, breathe. You didn't fail. You followed the plan that protects tomorrow's fun. I once watched a host smile at a guest who cashed out early after a tidy must-hit-buy jackpot. "You're the rare one," she said. Rare isn't luck. Rare is discipline. And discipline turns the casino from a maze into a short, enjoyable walk. Carry the mindset, not the myth. Verify RTP on the info screen where available. Choose volatility that fits your bankroll. Favor coverage on classic multi-lines. Scout states, not seats. Track what you learn. Leave on schedule. Pro player move. Treat every session like a filmed test. If a machine doesn't meet your criteria, it's not a no, it's not now. You can always come back when the state, the meter, or the math turns in your favor. Have you noticed patterns in your local floor? Drop one tell in the comments. Your note might be the next insider clue someone needs.